Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wellness Lounge. I'm delighted to be joined by Dave Sheahan, a high performance coach from Limerick. Dave, yeah, from Limerick, but international coach. Dave is going to talk to us this evening a little bit about keeping routine and the importance of keeping a routine in this current climate, because I think every one of us, our routine has shifted a bit, Dave, isn't that right? So again, I guess it's about creating a new routine. Yeah, creating a new routine in this time. So before we jump into that, maybe for those people who don't know you, could you tell us a little bit about your background and your experience? A high performance coach, what does that entail?
Perfect, and thanks, Julian, for having me on, and everyone who's watching here at the Well Lounge. Hope you enjoy what we talk about and what I share, and any questions, please ask us. So in terms of a high performance coach, I started off 24 years ago getting into the whole area of fitness and health. Got into it because of a friend pushing me to get into the gym. My image of a gym was just full of knucklehead bodybuilders, and I'd be this puny little guy going in lifting 1 kilo dumbbells. I didn't want that experience, so I avoided it like the plague. But he was incessant at me to get in, and eventually I went in, and I never kind of came out. And that was kind of my start. And why I became so passionate about it was, as a kid, as a teenager, I had a lot of demons in my own head. I had a lot of confidence, self-image, image issues, and very dark thoughts most of the time. Outwardly, that wasn't visible. Inwardly, it was terrible. That's why I'm so big with people on communication and open communication all the time, especially with guys, which has always been an issue for forever, basically. Yeah. But I got into the fitness area then, fitness, health, developed my knowledge base, my skills, my experience in nutrition, psychology, sleep, stress management, lifestyle management, self-management, I call it as well. So all these different areas over the last 24 years, working with thousands of clients around the world. Obviously started in Limerick, but also lived in different places like LA and Brussels and parts of France for a couple of months here and there. I've just come back from 5 years in Lanzarote and 2 years before that in Liverpool. So I've expanded client reach face-to-face as well as online for the last 10, 11 years I've been working online. Wow. As a high performance coach, what I say by that is, my tagline is to educate, motivate, inspire people. So what I do as a high performance coach, whatever area of life you want to improve and work on and have more out of and more satisfaction and fulfillment, it tends to come down to your mind, body, health area of life. Like if you're not content and don't have control of the mind, body, health area of your life, it's very hard to have happiness and fulfillment in the others. Whereas when you do get control of mind, body, and health, it has a catalytic impact on every other area of life. It's like someone being a millionaire, but very unhappy, which is quite common. Whereas if they had control of their health and even had less money, they'd probably be far happier and fulfilled. So it's about having balance. But if we're not happy within ourselves, mentally and physically, and physically isn't about having a six-pack. Like everyone's got a different image of what physical shape is to them. But if you're not physically and mentally fit and in control of it, it's going to be very hard for you to feel happy and fulfilled in your life. It's going to be very hard for you to achieve your goals as well.
So when you're working with people, by the sounds of it, you take that holistic approach. So you don't target in one area, you kind of look at everything, and then it might be something that is triggering different behaviors that's actually blocking people from achieving their goals. Is that right?
Exactly. It's like for anyone watching this, they might have certain goals they want to say with their physical shape, their health, any area of their life, but quite often that's being powered by something else that they're unhappy with, something even happened years and years and years ago. So quite often when I get clients and they come to me for a particular area or something they want to work in, whether it be their business, their wealth, relationships, their mind, body, health area, quite often we end up going into a different area because that needs to get fixed first if the area they came to me with is going to get fixed. So I look at everything. That's why, like when I first work with clients, we tend to do, could be 90 minutes, 2 hour session, because I need to find out everything I can about that client. Plus they need to be able to ask their questions. I need to agree as a team on a plan, because in coaching, that's what's important. You are a team. There's no hierarchy. There's nothing. You both have a part to play. As I say to my clients, when they say, hey, will I definitely get results? I say, well, if you do your part, I'm definitely doing my part, then results are guaranteed. Because it's like climbing the stairs. You do the steps, you have to get there if you keep climbing those steps. Or even if you fall down and you get back up again, you're still going to get there once you keep going and keep consistent.
Fantastic. And you know, Dave, as a coach, you'll know that wellness means different things to different people. So when you're working with your clients, I'm sure you ask them about what the goal is and what it means to them. So for you, what does wellness mean and look like for you?
Yeah, well, it's a good point you're saying there. You know, it is different for everyone. We all have different values in terms of what's important to us. Some people it's relationships and family. Some people it might be money. Some people it might be their career. Some people it might be their health. And it'll change over time as well. And whatever it is, if that's your true values, you should be striving towards it. Whatever it is, whether it be family and kids or whether it be money, it doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong. There's no right or wrong with this. What's important is you work towards your true values within you and your true goals in life. Because you live once, you want to live fully. In terms of wellness, like wellness for me, again, comes down to the wellness within you. And that's both physical and mental. And, you know, having a more positive mental attitude is huge. Like we live in a very negative world. We're bombarded by negativity. Like if you take right now with the amount of stuff about coronavirus, and people are exposing themselves to 24/7. Now I usually tell people to stay away from the media, don't watch news, don't listen to radio news, don't read papers, nothing. Right now we do have to keep up to date. So even like I am watching a certain element of news to keep up to date on the facts. But in general, you need to stay away from negative media, even negative TV programs, radio stuff, papers, and especially people as well. So work on your mental health is a daily process. You know, sometimes people say, hey, you know, how does someone become positive? You know, how someone become very happy and so on. It isn't something you just become and you're there. It's a daily process. It's a routine. It's like people say to me, you know, you're very positive, put across great energy. Well, you know, I have to work on that every single day, and I have done for 20 plus years, and I will do till my dying days, because you have to feed your mind positive stuff all the time, because we have thousands of negative thoughts every day. Plus then we're impacted by negative people around us, by negative media, negative information, bombarding us all the time. And then physically, you know, wellness is, you know, whatever you want it to be. As I said, the world and social media and magazines and the fitness, wellness, health industry bombard us with, again, six packs, toned abs, great booties, you know, big muscles in the arms, depending on what sex you are. And that's not the image for everyone. And that's why people don't get there, because they think that's where they have to get to be accepted and to accept themselves. And it's crazy, because whatever you feel is the right shape for you and how you want to feel and how you want to look is what you should be striving for. Absolutely. And what will give you confidence, self-esteem, self-image, because when you do have that self-love, which is what it's all about, you will feel confident, you will have self-esteem, you will have self-image, you'll be mentally strong, and then you can go on and achieve anything you want in every area of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. And I'm also getting from you that discipline. And I think that's something that people need to hear, that as coaches, that we have made this commitment to either our positivity, our mental health, our physical health, all the above. And so we have to actively work on that daily. I noticed earlier on you were posting when you were out for your walk, and in your authenticity, you were actually sharing that, you know, I feel a bit crap, or, you know, you know, I'm not feeling myself, but, you know, I'm going into my toolkit here, and my toolkit is to get out walking, get up, and that you have that routine, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So why is the routine so important? Tell us a little bit about why routine is important and what your routine is.
Sure. So like routine's important because, you know, for a lot of people, they just wing it through their days and wing it through their lives. And if you come to at the end of their lives, they're 100% guaranteed to be able to look back and have a lot of regrets. And I always say to people, the only fear you should have in life is regret, because you can't do anything about it when you get to that point. And that can be right now with decisions we've all made in the past that we regret, things we did do or we didn't do. And, you know, this is why you have to, again, have routines. Some people think routines are anal, but that's only an excuse to themselves. You know, people convince themselves of things, like when they say, I'll try something. It's like a subconscious message to say, hey, I've given it a go. But really, if someone says I'll try something, they rarely ever do it. You know, you have to commit to doing things. And routines are important because we have 24 hours in a day. And it's like right now, people have very empty schedules compared to normal. Yeah. All their typical routines are gone. And a lot of people will spend the next few weeks, possibly months, doing absolutely nothing and achieving nothing and moving forward in no way, and will just feel down and terrible about it. Whereas now more than ever, you have to have routines. In life in general, you need to, because it's the only way you can have success, because you have to some kind of structure. Like we all have millions of things on our to-do list, and it keeps getting bigger every single day. We have to have routines of prioritizing. Like one routine I'd have myself and I tell people to go by is, in your big to-do list, pick out the top 3 things that you are going to work on today. Then prioritize them in number 1, 2, 3. Then go for number 1, tackle that until it's finished. Then go to 2, then go to 3. Now, even if you only got 1 done in the day because it took up a lot more time, you still worked on your highest priorities. And every day will have higher priorities. And people avoid some of the things that they should be focusing on. But again, it's identifying those. So that's for productivity. You need to have routines to make sure you take care of you. It's like for first thing in the morning, as you mentioned, I get up at 6 o'clock. The first hour of my day is about taking care of me. I'll have my water to hydrate. I'll take in green tea to get in antioxidants. I'll mobilize all my joints. So it means just moving them, rotating them, just to kind of wake them up. I've been in bed up for 7, 8 hours. My body's really stiff. Take the dogs for a walk. When I'm taking the dogs out for a walk, I'm usually creating my morning messages to people who follow me on my social media, on my story. After I finish recording that, and I'll listen to some positive mind feeds, usually some podcast or audiobook or something like that. So again, I'm giving myself the positive mind feed from the start of the day. Because like I mentioned this morning in my story, yes, it was a bit of a low day for me, but my run picked me up. This morning I woke up, I did not want to get up and do my stretch and do some meditation, fill out my plan for the day, decide my 3 priorities, and that's my first hour. Now, if I did nothing else for the day, that's a hell of a productive start to my day.
Absolutely.
Just for me and my mentally, remember I said earlier about mentally, and we spoke before we started about the importance of mindset. If you don't get your mind in the game and have a positive mindset and work on it and get it off and running, it's going to be very hard for you to get through the day right. If you take a lot of people, their first action might be turn on their phone and look at Facebook. Most what they see is quite negative. Now, what kind of mindset is that? If you take my mindset, but in 1 hour, I've walked, I've stretched, I've meditated, I've listened to positive stuff, I put some hopefully good, valuable, impactful content out online, I've had water, I've had green tea, so I've ticked a lot of good boxes. So it's important for everyone to have a morning routine. And like mine's the bones of an hour. For you, it might be 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. It's a case of having a routine and building it. The same at the other end of the day. You need to finish the day. And a lot of people will finish off by falling asleep in front of the TV or watching a Netflix series on their iPad in bed. There's no real structure to that. And it's not conducive to good, peaceful sleep either, which is key because that's when we recover. Like my end of day will typically be, I'll have a knock-off time for phones, devices. Then I'll fill out my journal. I'll always write out 3 wins and 3 gratitudes every evening because, we can have days where we think, God, that was a crap day. I didn't really achieve anything. But unless you literally sat in your ass the whole day doing nothing, you will have achieved something. And by just writing out 3 wins and identifying them, it's positive energy. By writing out 3 things you're grateful for, because gratitude is a really powerful mental tool as well. Good. So you're going into bed and you're feeling quite positive, even if a lot of the day was very challenging. It's like you've had your challenges today, like you were sharing with me. You can write out 3 wins without a doubt and 3 things you're grateful for, and you can go to sleep feeling that was a good day, even though it was a challenging day. And everyone needs to go to sleep like that, because when you're carrying worries and stresses and upsets into your sleep, you don't sleep well, and then that carries through to the next day in your mood and your energy and everything. So you want to always start your day high energy by taking care of you. You want to always end your day high energy by identifying positive things and things you're grateful for, and prepare yourself mentally for the next day, and then do something to totally distract yourself. I typically stretch and read. And once I start reading, my brain goes, right, this is going to sleep time, and I switch off and I'm gone in a couple of pages because my body's conditioned and my mind's conditioned to release the melatonin to get me sleepy, to put me to sleep. So this is why routines are so important, and to have like regular bedtimes, regular waking times, and during the day to have routines too. It's like I work with a lot of clients around the world. I put a huge amount of content every day across social media. I'll be doing interviews like this. I have lots of different things I'm involved in. And if I don't have structure in my day, I won't get a fraction of it done. Whereas when you have structure and you adapt productivity strategies and you're able to prioritize, you can fit in so much. And that then becomes quite satisfying to you. And if you're going to achieve goals, you have to do these things. Routine is absolutely crucial.
And I like that kind of, that reflection piece. I'd often say that to clients as well, about 5 things that went well today. And when I say it, first of all, people are horrified. They're like, 5 things that went well. But, when you reflect, when you actually allow yourself to stop and reflect, you'll always find something to be grateful for, or acknowledge something, even in the worst days, which is why I want to bring you to what happened 10 days ago or 2 weeks with you. You were telling me before the call, you have a gym in Lanzarote. So how has this the coronavirus affected you personally, and how have you been navigating through that?
Yeah, like it's been quite a ride for the last 2 weeks especially. But yeah, like as I said earlier, I just returned from Lanzarote. I made a decision last summer 2019, and then I fully moved back to 20th December, just before Christmas. So I set up, like, I've worked online, like I used to run a chain of gyms up to 2009, then I went online, mainly worked online for the last 10 years with some offline work depending where I was living. So built up quite a decent online business. But while I was in Lanzarote for the last 2.5 years, I was approached to set up a gym there in a complex, and we did a deal, negotiated, and it started. And I started off with a vision of where I wanted to go. Last 2.5 years, I've put my heart and soul into it, night and day, doing what I could, but while still maintaining balance, which is important, because when you're on a growth phase or working hard phase or project phase, it's very hard to have all your eggs in that basket and not take care of yourself or your personal relationships and things. But I've worked night and day with it, put everything into it. And, we've got to a stage where we've good reputation locally, and a good team of instructors, and growing membership and growing core membership and stuff like that. Obviously, with me moving back, I did make the decision to keep it going because it was my baby there, and I didn't want it to just close. Would have been the easier option to just walk away and go, look, I'm moving, but I'm nowhere near finished it. And we have a food business attached to it. We do beach boot camps, yoga boot camps. Like, there's lots of little strands as well as the actual gym itself. So came back, obviously a lot more expenses with a manager and staff and stuff in place to cover the work I was doing. When I came back to January was quite a good month considering. February was good. Everything's going. I was happy how it was. Also, it's creating my own business here, then offline too. Something similar, fitness classes, personal training, getting a food business going, and all this kind of stuff. Another branch of DS Gym, basically, for Limerick in its infancy. So everything going swimmingly, and then all of a sudden, 14th of March, Saturday, 6:30, chocolate, movies, fun stuff. 6:30, got a call from a client who's also a fellow business owner in Lanzarote to say the president of Spain had announced lockdown. And when they said lockdown, they meant lockdown. You do not leave your house. Every business closes. Airport will be closed in 1 week or 2 weeks. So a complete total lockdown. Like in Ireland right now, we're having like a semi-lockdown, but it's still an element of freedom. So it was like absolutely devastating. Like it was like all the last 2.5 years just crumbled in my mind. I had so much anger, frustration, upset. I went through such really strong emotions at that moment. I cried. It was a couple of hours of absolute devastation.
Yeah.
So
there was no real sign of the drastic impact this is going to have. Even though I was saying it to somebody earlier today, we kind of knew that maybe our physical health, there might be something, but I don't think any of us realized the severity and the impact that this was actually going to take. And so many people in your position, entrepreneurs, self-employed, have basically just been shut down, overnight, and it's been traumatic.
And that's the devastating thing, because you genuinely do not know if you'll be able to open ever again. And that's what's devastating. It's like initially you said 14 or 15 days. And you're thinking, Christ, 15 days closed, you're still most likely going to have to pay all your expenses, because most landlords aren't going to think, oh, poor you. It's a reality. You've got all your government expenses and self-employed fees and utility bills and all those kind of stuff, and bank loans and whatever. And I don't have much trust in banks and governments in terms of being soft on us. So, it was total devastation. It was the same for everyone, especially something like an island like Lanzarote, where, tourism is massive for it, hotels, restaurants, all shut just in 5 hours after the announcement. And all employees, no money. So everyone was in the same boat. And I felt devastation too for knowing so many business people there, and also like for my own team, because they didn't want to have no income because they're all like contractors. Everyone went to a horrendous situation overnight. I had a good chat myself about 3 or 4 hours later, because like I said, I was absolutely devastated, crushed. And I looked at him and thought, look, this has happened, and we have to always focus on what we can control, because we can go into a very dark place, and there's no good in staying in that place. We have to always try create some type of positive out of every challenging situation, even if it appears like there isn't one, but there always is. And I said, look, who knows how long this blighting is going to last? Who knows if the gym's ever going to open again? I expect the facility I use in Limerick for my business to shut soon too, which it did the following day. So that was like in a 24-hour period, both my facilities in Limerick and Lanzarote gone. So 0 offline income. And I thought, look, everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's struggling. We don't know when this is going to end. We don't know if it's going to open. How can I make this constructive? And I said, look, what I'm going to do is, for the duration of this, I'm going to help as many people as I possibly can, wherever the hell they are in the world. Obviously take care of my team, my clients, my friends, my family, anyone I've worked with over the years, but also anybody. And basically I started messaging first family and friends, offering my help, even just simple things like groceries, things like that, any elderly people I knew in the area, messaging my team in Lanzarote, just trying to give them a pep talk and try to raise their spirits. Same as clients over there, same as business owners I knew, as well as ones I didn't know, just again trying to support. I was up till 3 a.m. on that Saturday morning, just on my phone, messaging, having chats, pep talks, heart to heart and all that. And I basically continued with that mindset. Every morning I wake up, it's about giving as much support as I can until this thing is over. And in the process of the first few days, with me and my team made a chat, and I have a great team, I have to say, in Lanzarote, and very similar mentalities, and very, the heart is in the business as well as for me and what they get as well. And we made a decision, we're going to put DS Gym online. We're going to see if we could put it online. And since the Wednesday, that was what day after Pisa, 18th of March, DS Gym is online, and we've classes, 5 classes, 9 to 12, Monday to Saturday. And I'm very grateful to my instructors that they're willing to do that, because many people wouldn't unless they're getting paid. Like I said to them, none of us are getting any money out of this, but we can feel we've helped people, we support the people in the most difficult time ever. Because if there's ever been a time the globe as a whole needs to work together as a unit, it's right now. And we all need to use our skills to support.
And I think, that message there is so inspiring, because I'm sure there's many people, Dave, that will be watching this who are experiencing what you experienced that day, but they may not have the tools and strategies that you have. And I suppose what I got from that is somewhere, between Saturday night and Sunday morning, you kind of accepted what was happening. So whereas some people right now are still in that, not being able to accept it, they're fighting it, and that turmoil kind of eats away at people. So it sounds like to me, you talked about that anger, that upset, and you process it, because I guess with all your tools and your training, and that's kind of what we want to get across to people in the Wellness Lounge, that we acknowledge where people are at. there is anger, there's fear, there's anxiety, and there is stress, but you can move through that, and you can actually come up with a new strategy and solutions, because I think sometimes when we're bogged down in the stress and the anxiety, we can't see the woods from the trees. So I saw a few people online last night expressing kind of anger at people who are being positive through that, and everyone's entitled to their own way of dealing with things. But I think our message in the Wellness Lounge, and that's why we kind of want to collaborate with people like yourselves who are experienced and helping people navigate through change, but also are doing it themselves. So to go from having 2 offline businesses to 5 hours, both of those gone, 2.5 years, time, money, passion, all those things. And yet you knew that, like, okay, I'm not going to lose time, in the fighting the reality. What can I do? And in that then, comes creation, doesn't there? And they're saying a lot of people can actually create new ideas in this time, because we do have time if we just have the tools to kind of process through that. So I just think that's really important. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I think that's really important.
It's hugely important, and I think the big thing is, like you said, so many people, unfortunately, the majority will be in dark places right now. That's why I really fear for the mental health of the globe, really. And I'm scared of where the stats may go. You know, we obviously are fearful of the stats for coronavirus, but I'm thinking like suicide, mental health issues, and so on. I think that's why, again, we need to support each other in every way we possibly can and give of ourselves till this is over. But people need to get it to their head. Like, look, I'm human. You're human. Anyone watch this is human. There's no master powers here. Like, I'm not someone special. Like, I'm just a human being like anyone else. And I've just learned tools and methods to basically manage my emotional state. I went down like anyone would go down. That's your immediate reaction. We need to focus on what you can control, you know, and put your energy into what you can control. It's like people who worry about things that may happen in the future. I'll say, what the hell are you worrying for? It hasn't happened yet. Put your energy into what's going on right now. If something happens, then start worrying about it. Then let it upset you. But why worry about something that mightn't even happen? So it's like right now, like people being stressed and worried, and this might happen in the future. And what if it's months? And what if it's, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I could have coronavirus in the morning. I may not get it. You know, everything could finish in a week. It could be 6 months. We have no idea. So what can you control? What skill sets do you have? What are the things that you have wanted to do for like months and months or years and years that you haven't been doing because you've been too busy or you haven't prioritized or whatever reasons you have? Now you've got the time. But like I said, in terms of a mindset shift, you have to get good at when your emotional state drops, do something positive. Once you do something positive, you have to feel good. It's like doing a bit of exercise, a bit of meditation, take a positive action step. Same as when you get a negative thought, hit it with a positive thought. Like if someone gets, you're looking terrible today in your head, and go, well, look, I've been exercising 3 days a week for the last 2 months, and I've eaten much healthier, drinking a bit of water, I'm down the size, screw you. You know, so like it's getting that battle in the head because it goes on for every person. And I think unfortunately is a lot of inverted commas experts out there, they like feeling they're on a big pedestal and that they're looking down at all the minions and all these, and people then are going to events or seminars or whatever and feel this person's like a god up there when they're the same as them. It's just they've done more in taking action. It's all they've done. And a little bit of luck along the way, maybe. We all can achieve whatever we want. We have to realize that and manage our emotional state. That is the real key.
It is really, because it has a domino effect. If we don't catch it, it can really have a domino effect. And I was posting onto the page earlier today about my routine, and it really is working on my thoughts in the morning, because I would have kind of, I suppose, a habit for many years. You talked about thousands of thoughts a day, and we do, they say, I don't know how they measure it, they say up to 70,000 thoughts a day, but my go-to was a negative mindset in the morning. So I was that person that was regretting what had happened or fearing what hadn't happened. So that's why my vulnerable period is morning time, and that's when I really need to develop a kind of an inner dialogue with myself to manage that. Let it go. Gratitude is what, you know, my morning is all about gratitude, and that really gets me moving. And it's kind of like segment by segment by segment, and checking in with myself, and you know, setting intentions and grounding, meditation. But I try to keep my routine kind of quick in the mornings, and then in the evenings I have time, the journaling, and a little bit more gratitude as well. But you know, for people out there that maybe are not used to that, or you know, don't have a routine at all, they're watching here, they're going through things that we've talked about there, they're still carrying the anger, the stress, the anxiety. What would you think would be an easy start for them tomorrow morning? What would be a simple thing that you think that would kind of create that momentum in their life?
Okay, I think the most important thing is that for anyone listening who's still holding that anger and everything, like the past is the past. Like up to like a millisecond ago, that's the past. What you do next is what's important. So you either want to continue feeling like crap and feeling bad emotion and that crippling you and taking action, because when you feel bad, you do not take action. You don't want to have that battle for weeks and months. So start now. Do something positive now. It could be something as simple as, if you have an exercise in days, weeks, months, do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. Just tick that box. If you've never meditated before, do even 10 seconds, because it's not the easiest thing to do. Journal. Write one win and one gratitude for today. Just do something that's positive now. Then in terms of like from tomorrow, decide on a morning routine and evening routine. It's very important to start your day positively, end it very positively. But like with mine is an hour, and the evening's probably 20 minutes or something. Like you said, Gillian, yours is probably shorter than mine, but the evening one's much longer than mine. For people, they need to decide what is realistic for me. If you're someone who has never done routines and you don't like them, you feel, you know, you haven't a time type idea, start with even 5 minutes. Get up, move your body a bit, do a little stretch, do a little exercise, maybe watch a YouTube video for 2 minutes that's positive, drink a bit of water. There you go. It's 5-10 minute routine. Same in the evening. Even if you only wrote down 3 wins, 3 gratitudes, that was your routine. There's like 5 minutes. That's like 2 little routines, 10 minutes and 5 minutes. It's a start.
Yeah.
It's like for everything. It's like getting in shape, starting a business, improving a career, whatever it is. People always see the very end and they're trying to jump to the end.
Yeah.
The next step is all that matters. Know what all the steps are, even if there's a million steps. What actually matters is what is the next step. So if you haven't got a routine, your next step is to create one. Not create a big one, elaborate one. Create one that's 5 minutes. Same as if you have an exercise in ages and ages. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, it's a start. It's not going to transform your body, but it's a start in the road to getting in better shape. So make a start, decide what works for you. Like I said, it's like meditation. It's something I've struggled with for years. I've done meditation for like a good, 5-6 years, every day. But I tried things like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, everything. And I had to go at one stage, look, I'm finding it difficult to do this consistently because it's a bit hit and miss. And now I always do at least 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes every day in the box. And the more positive habits you have every day, more box you're ticking, I mean, less negative ones you're ticking. And obviously you're going to have a more fulfilling life with that.
So I guess the message is find what resonates with you. So it could be gratitude, it could be a walk, it could be meditation, it could be acts of service, like what you were doing. You rang around to people. I mean, that gives you a good feeling when you're helping other people out. You realize that, okay, there's a lot of people that's going through things. So it's find what resonates with you and start small. So be that one phone call, 3-minute meditation, one thing to be grateful for, journal in the evening, but make it your own and create your own routine. I know that that's worked for me, because I think if you try to do other people's routine, and people can be sometimes put off if they start following you on social media. You've been at this for 24 years, you're actively working on yourself, and you have a great sense of self. So I think it's futile people actually comparing themselves to anybody else out there. Find your own routine. But that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And you were saying earlier that the gym,
like you've shared your routine on this call.
You broke up there. Hello.
I did. Yeah, I was just saying, like you shared some of your routine. I shared some of my routine on this call. You know, for people, it's a case of take little bits from it, like you said, resonate with, and just create your own routine. And it's like when you hear anyone speaking about anything, pick out the bits that resonate with you or value to you, and then put them into practice.
No, good advice. Thanks, Dave. So you were saying there a while ago, the gym is still accessible, but online. You're doing programs every day. Is it an app or a website that you have?
So we're doing it through Facebook groups, so closed Facebook groups, because I want people to take action as well. Like if something's just free, that's one step, which is fantastic. A lot of people have no value in it. Even just the action of sending a request to the group. We have 2 metabolic stimulation system members and Freya's DS gym classes. If anyone wants any details, just send me a message. But someone requests, we add them, we welcome them, and then they can access classes from 9 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock. We've got MSS, which is our kind of flagship program, which is based on a book I wrote, Metabolic Stimulation System. So it's like weight training, cardio, HIIT, abs, stretching. Every day is a different workout. So that's on like 9 o'clock, then 10 to 12, there's different classes each day, whether it be yoga, Pilates, Zumba, legs, bums, tums, Tai Chi, boxing. So lots of different things, different variety. And because it's in the Facebook group, it's very engaging. So I typically manage to support the comments, responding. Someone as I tackle difficulties, I'll talk them through it on WhatsApp or Facebook. And the instructors then are doing the workouts over in their villas. Because again, it's still in total lockdown. So they literally can't leave their houses. So it's something that it helps the people over there a lot, because again, we feel we're on a bit of a lockdown here. It's nothing compared to a full lockdown. Like that's scary. It's lonely because many of them are on their own. Many are elderly. Like we've got an elderly demographic, which has been great to serve those people because most gyms won't typically. And this is where for them, the support we've given in terms of I'm in contact with all of them every day. We have our classes, we have to chat, we have a private WhatsApp group. Then like with our group with the free classes, there's people coming on from all over the world now. Then which is great because we're getting people everywhere. And it's given us a lot of satisfaction. And for me personally, again, going back to in terms of, I'm only human, I'm getting so much strength from the last 10, 12 days supporting people. It's helped me in my own difficulties because they're still there. They're not going away.
Of course, yeah.
If I didn't do this, if I wasn't supporting people as much, I'd definitely be a lot more crushed. But this has given me a lot of joy, and the messages I'm getting back in emails and Facebook and everything saying thanks for the classes, or thanks for the email, or thanks for whatever. I get massive strength from it.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of the community has grown online, and there is a lot of things out there at the moment for people. And as you mentioned a while ago, we do have a lot more time now, so people actually have the time to kind of peruse what is available and develop that routine themselves, be it exercise, be it meditation, be it nutrition, or whatever it is. Well, Dave, before we started speaking, I put out on Facebook, did anyone have any questions? And there may have been more that came in, so I will check that. But there was 2 questions. Kira asking tips on what should be in a daily morning routine, which I think you covered, and I gave my routine in that as well. Was there anything you wanted to add to that? But I think we kind of covered it all
just
there.
For Kira, to reiterate again to her, just look at what your routine is right now, and if there's no routine or it's quite a bad routine, then think of positive things you can add to it, and just again keep it short. A bit more, like do it step by step. That's what's important. So start off small and develop it over time, but make sure it's consistent. It's more important you do 5 minutes every morning consistently than you do 10, 15, 30 minutes for a couple of days a week.
Yeah, okay, very good. And Karen is asking a question. I'd say the world wants to know the answer to this. How do you get rid of cabin fever, Dave?
Yeah, a lot of people have cabin fever. This is where routines are crucial, guys. Think about, we've always had freedom. Everyone, like in the modern world, has had freedom their whole life, and we're used to be able to go out when the hell we want, go to restaurants, work, gyms, out for walk, whatever. Whereas now, we've got cabin fever, especially to places where there's total lockdown, or if people are sensibly self-isolating while we still don't have full lockdown here in Ireland or England or Wales, Scotland, and so on. Getting rid of cabin fever, routines are crucial. You have to keep yourself active. This is where people have never had so much time, and that's difficult too. It's like when people retire, they wait their whole lives to get to retirement, then let them get to it, and they don't know what to do, they've nothing to strive for. And unfortunately, many die after only 3 or 4 years even, which is crazy. So this is the same kind of situation. You have a whole blank canvas. What are the things you haven't had time to do, you would love to have done? Maybe you're into crafts, maybe you want to learn a new skill, learn a language, do a course. There's so many online courses, and right now, great to see that a lot are doing for free or for massive discounts. Learn new stuff, get on these type of podcasts, videos, interviews, YouTube videos. Make use of your time. Make sure you're brainstorming, taking time out to really think, reflect. Look, this is where my life is right now. What am I happy with, not happy with? Where do I really want it to be? Make plans for where you want it to be, get very clear on it, and start taking steps. So the main things you need to adopt routines, you need to identify the steps in every area of life, relationships, mind, body, health, professional, wealth, and decide what are the next steps and start taking them. Because even though you're stuck at home, there's loads you can do.
So use this time wisely and look at creating goals and moving towards those goals. Very good.
And also do things for you. It's great being productive and doing stuff all the time. And our normal lives are crazy. Now they've slowed down dramatically. Like for most people, time's gone slow when time was insanely fast. And it is important now you make this productive, but also make it time to have fun. Do the things you can't normally do, and also you won't be able to do as much when this all ends. Like spending time with your kids or loved ones, like being on calls, catching up with people you haven't been in touch with for a while. Watch comedies, watch movies, watch series. Like you don't want to be just slobbing on the couch for 9 hours a day watching stuff, but make sure you make time for it, because you won't be able to when you go back to normal, because you will get back to the fast-paced life. So, in terms of cabin fever, keep yourself busy. Make sure you exercise. Exercise is crucial. Just keeping your body moving. Again, forget the aesthetic elements for mental health, because it's impossible to exercise and not feel better after. It's absolutely impossible. So make sure you're exercising. Take advantage of all the great classes and workout stuff online. And just move your body. And I said mental health more than physical health is important for exercise.
Okay, and I was just checking my phone here for Facebook to see was there any other
Yeah.
questions. So Fiona was asking any good insights to motivating teenagers.
Motivating teenagers. They can be difficult ones, teenagers. See, the generation that have grown up now, like teenagers,
Yeah.
they're on phones like 24/7 basically. And teenagers are teenagers. They are special, and we've all been there. I'm sure our parents would agree
Yeah.
that every teenager is difficult. But it's the same again. It doesn't matter whether you're 5 years of age or 90 years of age. You know, again, we need routines. Like I have a 14-year-old son, nearly 14 and a half now. So it's like with him, he's off school, and like I'm forming routines with him. So I can relate to that question. And especially if you have a couple of teenagers, it's more difficult. But they need to have routines too, because think about it, before all this happened, you got up in the morning at a certain time, you did certain things before school, you got to school, they had lunch, they had school, they came home, maybe after school activities, homework, and whatever happened in bed. Now there's nothing. But they need to be under school. Some schools are doing fantastic in the way they're doing their schooling now online and all. Some may not be having as much, but even if they don't, make sure you're getting your kids treating it like a school day. Like for my son, 9 o'clock's the start, and then sometime between 2 and 3 is his finish. He has to do certain things. Then we do a workout together, usually about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. It was outside. It used to be where, again, I used to be working out of. Now we're doing one of our own workouts, for instance, today that one of my instructors did this morning. So, and again, stress to them, even chat, spend more time with them, and you can get them planning out what they'd like. You know, open up communication. Maybe your communication with your kids isn't as good as it should be because we all have such fast-paced lives. This is the opportunity to create a better relationship, to find out more what they want. You know, to again rekindle some of that closeness that maybe is gone. It's just the way the fast-paced world is. So make sure your teenagers or kids have routines. Make sure you're doing stuff they enjoy as well. Make sure balance. Like my son's big into gaming. Be a certain amount of time he does gaming, a certain amount of school, a certain amount does exercise, a certain amount does chill. But routines. It boils down to that for everyone of every age.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents out there are feeling like that they have to be the teachers as well. So there's a lot of tension in households. So I think, again, you know, incorporating something fun to do together, I think is really, really key. And listen, we're all kind of making things up as we go along. So there's no kind of a perfect way. So schedule a few things in and like treat it like a school day or a work day. That sounds like good advice.
Exactly.
Well, Dave,
getting the right balance.
Getting right balance, absolutely. Before we finish, there's 3 questions I ask everybody when they come into the Wellness Lounge. We talked about having more time, a lot more time, and using that time effectively. So what have you been able to do more of in the last 2 weeks? What has this...
So, yeah, because like that, like my schedule cleared up pretty damn fast again on the 14th and 15th compared to what it normally was. So in terms of what I've been able to do more of, you know, one big thing, because I'm living with my parents at the moment since moving back, while I find their own place, I spent more time and quality time, not just being in the same house, but actually with my parents, and I probably have in the last 20 something years. Because once I became an entrepreneur, I was only what, 18, 19. So it's been fast paced since, especially with living in different countries and stuff. So that's one big thing. Has been great, really. That it's only in the last week or so I've really reflected on and seen. Obviously, getting to spend more quality time with no pressure with my son is massive, because at the end of the day, he is my world. And you know, we've had a lot more. I've always blocked some time off every week for us time. But I've had a lot more now on a daily basis, and that's something that I made a conscious decision to make sure of during this time. And also, you know, I've always given a lot of support to people, but I'm giving more support than I've ever given in my life. And as I said, that is helping me personally to deal with what's going on in my own life. Okay, and what are you doing less of? So less of, I'm doing, what will I be doing less of? Obviously I'm doing tons and tons of social media, but there was a lot of stuff that I was doing in terms of directly with the business related to that, like the administration stuff and day-to-day running of it. Like that is now down to zero, which isn't too bad because it's not the type of stuff I enjoy, to be honest. Like what I really enjoy is the interaction with people, helping people. So, you know, I'm doing much more of that now, when before I didn't have as much time to. Like I have the time now to have, if someone needs me for 30 minutes for even just chatting away on Facebook and in the message or whatever, I can do that. And I'm having people reach out on here, just could I have a little chat with you or whatever. And I'm getting to do more of what I love to do than some stuff you need to do as a business owner, which at the moment, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's a positive as well.
Fantastic. And lastly, but not least, gratitude. Name one thing that you're really grateful for at the moment.
I suppose I'm grateful. There's many things, and like in my live today, I do a live meet that spoke of gratitude. So I listed out a lot of stuff everyone has to be grateful right now at a time when people think, what the hell are you on about? It's crazy. How can I be grateful for anything? But I'm grateful that time has slowed down, because for me, and like anyone, time was nearly too fast, and I wasn't able to get to reflect and brainstorm as much as I would like to have. I didn't get to spend like that even time with my son as much as I would like to have. Or time for me as well. Grateful to slow down. Whatever, and this time, Gym online has founded, which could be something that becomes a business leg, or it might be the main business. Who knows? Depending on where this thing goes to. But I am grateful that time has slowed down. I think something people think about it, it's going to help them enormously if they use it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dave, thanks a million. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I really enjoyed following you the last 2 weeks on social media. I'm going to post in the in our Facebook group if people want to contact you for more information, to find out about the classes or those private groups, or just to follow you, because you are a motivator, you are an inspirer, and you're a great person to be engaging with. And thank you for giving us your time and support this evening. Thanks a million, Dave.
Well, thanks so much, Gillian. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in and watches this. And I put out tons of content every day. Like, the most valuable would be following my story, which I put out literally everything that's going on in my day, and very authentically. So you'll see a lot of bad days and good days. So you can relate to that, and lots of great content. And I try to put out funny stuff as well, especially at the moment, because we all need a good laugh.
We do.
And nothing more tonic than that. And just in general, I put out tons of content every day, because again, I'm here. I feel my mission is to serve people. And that's what I'm here for. I feel it's my purpose. So yeah, if you follow me, you'll get a lot of great content. And if anyone ever wants to actually work with me, I'd be delighted to help you.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, Dave. And we'll look forward to following your journey over the next few weeks. Thanks.
Thanks, Julian.
Thanks.